I'm Kirsten Galata, and welcome to the fourth episode of our Indirect Tax Lifecycle video series. On previous episodes, we've discussed nexus, classification, taxability, sourcing, compliance, exposure, and remediation. On today's episode, we're going to discuss process reviews with Kathy Saxton. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thanks for having me, Kirsten.
So Kathy, before we jump in, can you just briefly introduce yourself and share a little bit about your role here at Deloitte?
So I am Kathy Saxton. I'm a managing director. I reside in the Atlanta office. I have been with Deloitte, about 27 years, primarily in multi-state, in the last 15 years, focusing entirely on indirect.
Great, thanks, Kathy. So let's jump right in. This episode is about process reviews. So if you could start by sharing a little bit with our viewers about what a process review is.
Sure. I love talking about process reviews because I think it's such a valuable service, one that we provide, but for our clients and our tax departments. Because what we do at a highest level is, we're looking at the processes and whether it is the entire indirect process, or maybe we have a client that wants to limit it to the sales function or the purchase function. We're helping them look at all the source data, whether it be systems, documents, exemption certificates, whatever that source data is, through the process that it takes to then get it onto a tax return, whether it be the use tax or the sales tax, and then everything in between. So we're helping them identify the flows, the inputs and the outputs.
So in your experience, Kathy, why do clients want to perform a process review?
Yeah, I think there's numerous reasons, right? Indirect can be a blind spot for some of our clients, depending upon the industries that they sit in. We also see people that are doing it for a variety of reasons. Maybe it's from a pre-IPO, or it's in preparation of some M&A, or actually it might be the result of M&A as well. And that they're looking to identify gaps in their process. They're looking for areas of material risk. They're looking for maybe areas of exposure. We also see people that want to look at it just overall process improvements. It might be part of a broader initiative to improve technology or improve different systems and things like that. I also see another area that tends to drive the need or the desire for process flow when you have new ownership, right? Maybe you have a new tax director, or maybe you have a new CFO, or when you've got acquisitions and people are trying to understand kind of the comparisons of what is one entity doing versus another entity. So there's a lot of reasons why I think we see our clients wanting to do process reviews. I think another area that I'll see is as a result of an audit, maybe there was a significant overpayment or there was a significant exposure item. And a lot of times what I'll see is the C-suite wanting to understand, how did that happen? And then how do we keep that from happening in other states or in the future?
So when you work with clients to perform process reviews, Kathy, what are some of the potential benefits that you or your clients can uncover?
Yeah, I think it's a great question because it really depends upon, in some cases, why they wanted the process review. At its core, we're looking for, I think I've said it a few times now, the exposure or the opportunities, right? So sometimes it has been as simple as helping an operating unit understand what documentation they need to obtain to, paper up an exemption or things like that. We've also seen a lot of process improvements, whether it be through technology, whether it be through data wrangling tools, and really streamlining the overall process to get data to a return, and then freeing up the internal resources so they can focus on more value add things. Maybe it's the audit defense, maybe it's research and planning. We've also seen it as part of an overall system improvement, whether it be an ERP or a tax engine implementation that really results in a more accurate answer or results for their filings as well. I think an example I have more recently is we have a client who traditionally sold widgets. And so they really have had processes. They've been selling widgets for 40 or 50 years. They've got that process down. Well, suddenly now with technology advancements and everything being digitized, they're now selling monitored widgets or, different digital services and that relate to other products they sell. And it's a new world for them. So they don't even understand what the tax requirements are that they might need, because this is just something that they're not familiar with. So while we're in, and while the hood is up, so to speak, and understanding the current processes, we talk about where is the company going in the future, so that we're not solving for a problem today, and we're helping them understand the different business perspectives and what's coming down the pipe, so that they can solve for solutions today and for tomorrow, if that makes sense.
So what are some of the areas or circumstances where you may uncover insights through a process review?
Yeah, I think, again, when we're focusing on the sales side of a business, a lot of times we've got to talk to the products people, because the issues tend to be around the characterizations of the offerings and trying to understand how are we getting to that answer? What are we selling? How do we deliver it? What are we going to be selling in the future, right? And looking at all those things, because I think the positions that a company may take about what they're selling is all intertwined to and related to their purchase side. Because if I'm going to take a certain position about this is what I sell, it could impact the potential for exemptions on their buy side, or it could impact the sourcing of that service when they're selling it, and all the things that we need to be thinking of other than the initial question that we're asked. So we like to say that we don't do it in a vacuum. We try to be a little more holistic and try to understand where all the processes fit in with each other, just to make sure that we're helping our client ask all the right questions and document all the right policies and procedures. I think another thing that we've seen huge benefits come out for a few of our clients, it's really kind of what I'd call pre-IPO or pre-M&A readiness, and looking at, how would a potential buyer view us? And what are the areas that they're going to focus on in our business? And let's identify that now, and let's put in the steps to improve that, which also drives, do I have the need for any reserves or any things like that we should be thinking about? And what are the potential mitigations and remediations that we can do, to kind of help eliminate some of those reserves issues? I'm seeing that quite a bit most, recently.
And so Deloitte takes a broad-based approach to providing indirect tax services throughout the entire indirect tax life cycle. What do you think makes that approach effective?
Yeah, I think, and I touched on it earlier with the thinking about that example of, well, what I sell could impact what I buy. So that helping a client, and I think the tax department really gets value out of these process reviews as well, because while we're interviewing people like products or legal or the IT or accounts payable, and just to understand the issues and the flows and the things that they're challenged with, and then what the data requirements are, we can really help them think through what are possible remediations, what is that roadmap that they may need, whether it be from a technology spend, whether it may be from additional resources. In addition, we're helping them document their internal policies and their procedures so that they have that, for the future, whether, it's for the 404 documentation, or if it's just for, helping a new CFO understand, okay, how is the indirect practice adding value to the organization?
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kathy. It was great spending time with you today to discuss process reviews. Please join us for our next episode when we discuss reverse audits with Dave Yaros. Thank you.